New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is being stripped of emergency powers he was granted at the beginning of the pandemic amid the now disgraced governor's sexual harassment and nursing home scandals. Legislators from New York Assembly and State struck the deal on Tuesday, and the deal comes as New York Assemblyman Ron Kim told Bloomberg that Democrats are building a consensus on giving Cuomo the boot. New York Assemblyman Ron Kim joins me now to discuss all of these latest developments. Great to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on.
Absolutely. So update us on your efforts. The impeachment articles were introduced. You and others have been behind that effort. Where do those efforts stand? And also give us your general reaction, sir, to the sexual harassment allegations that have come out since we last spoke.
Yeah, well, the credible allegations of sexual harassment made by these brave women coming forward show a clear pattern of Cuomo's abuse of power. And I believe the governor will be held accountable for sexual harassment. As far as the impeachment, there is a growing number of lawmakers every day calling on the governor to resign. Just today, I think we had a couple of other of my colleagues issue a statement this morning. We have seen enough of his predatory behaviors and abuse of power. But to be clear, a resignation does not equate to accountability. We still need to thoroughly investigate his actions of allowing top donors to write deadly policies like corporate immunity for nursing homes, and we must charge him for sexual harassment.
I'm glad that you brought that up, sir, because as much as the firestorm under Cuomo around these sexual harassment allegations is certainly deserved, I think the scandal that you have been pointing at now since April is one that deserves a lot more scrutiny. Again, lay out for the audience, perhaps who are not as familiar with your work. You tracked the nursing home death situation all the way early. Then you saw as donors and others were able to write corporate immunity into law. And now we are beginning to see some of those consequences with an admission that nursing home death data was withheld from the Fed. So just go into all of that for our audience again.
Sure. Thank you. So Cuomo prioritized the interest of his top corporate donors, hospital and nursing home donors, over saving people's lives. His administration admitted to deliberately withholding data on life and death data that we could have used to legislate. I believe he did this for two reasons. One, because it would have made him look bad. And two, to prevent the repeal of his toxic poison bill, which shielded nursing home executives, some of the most worst nursing home businesses in New York State, at the cost of people's lives. For this, he needs to be held accountable because 15,000 families deserve justice.
And sir, whenever we're talking also about this entire situation, obviously thousands of families have suffered as a result of these decisions. What are some of the steps, like you talked about there, accountability and investigation? What would an investigation seek to find out here about the governor's decision makings and many of the deaths that were covered up?
I think the investigations, whether it comes from the federal or the state or both, needs to reveal two main questions. Who ordered the administration to give corporate immunity to nursing home executives? And who ordered to suppress the nursing home data so we couldn't repeal his bad policies? And how will we, as legislators, hold him accountable for his abuse of power? As the chair of the Committee on Aging, we are, I think, today actually putting forward a bill to repeal Cuomo's corporate immunity, along with, I think, 18 or 19 other bills that speaks to real solutions to reform and hold for-profit nursing homes accountable.
Mm-hmm. And then final question here. We saw, Chris Cuomo, CNN host, he came out, he said that he wouldn't be able to cover these allegations. In general, how do you think the media has been handling this situation, now that things have come to light? Like, are you more satisfied? You talked with us previously about how maddening it was and how you had to go to the United Nations. What do you make of Chris Cuomo's statement there and of the media handling so far?
Oh, I'm glad that, his brother is owning up to some of them, but it wasn't a real apology for what he did for the last, I think, 10 months, because people like me and lawmakers and public servants and the families, when we're seeing the truth of what was going on, and we felt like we're getting gaslit every night when we turned the TV on. that they were cracking jokes about the situation where our loved ones are dying due to his bad policies. So I think Chris Cuomo also needs to apologize for making some bad decisions at a time when we should have focused on saving people's lives.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there, sir. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to have you back again soon to keep us updated. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
Coming up, FBI Director Christopher Wray appeared in Congress to testify on the investigation of January 6th. We'll discuss his testimony further when Rising continues.